Hello, my YouTube friends. I wanted to pop on today with a quick tutorial about weight loss because I know it's top of mind right now, and I still see so many people not understanding the most basic concepts when it comes to weight loss and wasting their time while punishing their bodies to make some kind of magic happen. And weight loss is not magic. It's just about understanding your biology. So I'm going to educate you a little bit to help you a great deal today. I want you to stop punishing yourself today and forever after by just simply learning a little bit about your own metabolism and how your hormones control your weight. This is what we've all been told about weight loss, and what we already know doesn't work for most of us. Eating less while increasing our exercise only increases the stress on our body. But where did this come from? Why is this always the advice that we get? I think intuitively this makes sense to us because we know that doing the opposite definitely doesn't work, right? We know if we eat more and hardly move, plus try not to care at all about ourselves, that's a disaster. But there are millions of people out there doing the opposite and getting nowhere. So if neither one of these works, what do you actually need to know to get ahead? It really comes down to just getting two principles right. You want to be eating the right things, and you want to be supporting your body with the right type of exercise. Both of these things should be supporting your metabolism. How do I know this works? It's not just because I'm a doctor. In fact, most doctors are still giving the wrong advice. It's because I'm a student of science, and metabolic science works. This is me. I was patient zero among the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people I have walked through this process. But before I did that, I used my husband as a guinea pig and also my best friends just to make sure it worked on them. Then we called all our mothers, brothers, sisters, neighbors, and cousins from across the country and did it with them. So what is the common thread among all of these folks I've worked with who have managed to lose weight and improve their health? It's fixing their metabolism. And what is metabolism again? Metabolism is how your body uses and stores energy. The energy that comes into our body we call calories. Calories are how we measure food energy. The energy sources for our body primarily come in two forms, either sugar or fat. Sugar is our primary source of energy, the one our body prefers. If sugar is available, our body will always go for the sugar first. I've also listed here the other scientific names that we use often for sugar, that being glucose, or the sugar in your bloodstream, glycogen, or the stored sugar in your body, and carbs, which I use interchangeably with sugar. Your secondary source of energy, the one that gets used when sugar isn't available, is fat. And this can come from the stored fat on your body or the fat that you eat. Okay, so what about protein then? I know you've heard that if you're trying to build a healthy body and get lean, that you ought to be eating more protein. Is protein a form of energy? No, not in the strictest sense. Protein will only get used as energy under the most dire of circumstances, like in anorexia. Protein should be thought of as your building blocks. It makes up every single part of your body. Every cell and every part you can name is made of protein. But in order to put your protein building blocks in place, you always require energy. It does you no good to eat pure protein without energy. Luckily, many proteins come with their energy attached. So building a healthy body is all about eating enough energy to put that protein into place. My overweight friends may feel as if I'm getting off track. I know you friends are often thinking, I don't need to build anything. I'm trying to get rid of all this fat. I don't want to build. And I get that, friend. You're trying to be lighter, not build. But that right there is the flaw in your plan. A better goal than trying to lose weight is to think about building a healthier body. And here's the key. A healthy body means you have a healthy metabolism. A healthy metabolism is one that can start using all this stored up energy as proper fuel. So then you have to ask yourself, what determines whether I burn the energy that comes in or store it? Because if your body is storing all of it and burning none of it for energy, that leaves you overweight and exhausted. What controls this inside your body is your hormones. Your metabolic hormones control your weight, not your sex hormones. We're not talking about estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone in this video. I'm talking about your metabolic hormones, which are far more important than these in controlling your weight. The two most important metabolic hormones to become familiar with and to gain control of are insulin and cortisol. Insulin is our hormone that stimulates growth. It takes the energy from our food and puts it into our cells. I think of it like a shuttle that brings the energy to the right place. Insulin is extremely important always, and especially as we're growing up. As adults, insulin continues to make sure that food gets into our cells where energy is needed. Every time we eat, our insulin goes up. But it's important to know that not all foods are equal when it comes to raising insulin. Sugary foods, especially the processed foods that contain a ton of sugar, raise our insulin levels far too high. And if we're past the point of growing up, that only causes us to grow out. When our body has too much insulin, it starts to ignore that signal. This is called insulin resistance. And when that develops, a lot of energy is getting stored and almost none of it is getting into your cells. So reducing insulin by getting less sugar in your diet is an essential tool for weight loss, and about 1,000 times more effective than running on a treadmill, which we'll talk about next. Now let's talk about cortisol. Cortisol is known as our survival hormone. Cortisol in our system causes our blood pressure to rise. It also causes our blood sugar to rise. Cortisol plays an important role for our body when we need it. We don't need cortisol all the time, but unfortunately, chronic stress keeps our cortisol high. When cortisol is present, fat remains trapped. This is because it raises your blood sugar, which raises your insulin, which is your storage hormone. This becomes a vicious cycle. Either emotional or physical stress will raise our cortisol, which in turn raises our sugar, which then raises our insulin, which causes increased fat storage. It's extremely important to recognize here that fat is not the problem. It's simply a sign that all these other things are happening. It's a sign that an underlying problem exists. And that underlying problem that's building up on the inside of your body is actually stressing it more. So now you can see why this sort of plan only leads to weight gain over time. Your body might be able to handle this stress for a short amount of time, but it won't be able to do it in the long run. The exercise that most supports your metabolism is increasing your muscle mass. This means fitting in some resistance exercise. But as a beginner, that's not the most important place to start. As a beginner, the most important exercise you can incorporate is walking. Walking is going to help you burn more fat while your body gets used to less sugar. You can start with some beginner forms of resistance, like slow yoga, beginner yoga, not advanced. But even that can wait. Wait until you get a lot of that excess fat off of your body. You can start moving easier with a lot more energy. The healthy diet I suggest will bring you a lot more energy in time, but it does take time to adjust, as much as 1 or 2 months. So take your time and be kind to your body. By following this plan, you ensure that you're going in the right direction without wasting any time. And if you want help and support in that process, this is something I teach every single month in my Jumpstart Sugar Detox course. If you want to check it out, go to jumpstartsugardetox.com. I'll be more than happy to support you through the process. Knowing what to do is powerful, but actually doing it is a little different, and I can teach you step by step. Cutting out sugar is not as easy as it sounds. That's because sugar is an addictive substance. That's precisely where working with me comes in handy. As an ER doctor, I'm an expert in addiction. Don't be surprised if you have to come at this sugar addiction more than once. That's normal. Okay, all my love to you, friends. If this was helpful to you, please let me know in the comments below. And if you think it might help anyone else in your life understand how not to punish their body in the weight loss process, please forward it to them. And let me know what other problems I can walk you through. Stay healthy.